nervous. The whole house has just been rocking. Okay. I hit go. So we are probably live. It's probably recording. Welcome everybody. Hey, to MOXLEY. As you can tell, things aren't a usual show today. We've had a little bit of excitement here in New Zealand, and
just a little bit.
It's still continuing, so things are a little nervy here today. So we're just going to chill, hang, tell you what's been going on, and hopefully you won't witness too much live, but it is possible. And for that, with everything going on and just how anxious and wound tight everyone's nerves are, we're just going to do an hour-long show today and just hang out and do our big, serious, heavy content about MEX and safety next week when we haven't been hit with a 7.5 earthquake at midnight, the night before the show. Last night was definitely a wee roller coaster indeed. I'm still waiting for us to come up on YouTube, so I do know we'll be recording, but let us know out there in chat when you can see us. Thank you to everybody who's been hanging out in chat waiting for us to come live. New Zealand, or parts of it, has now also been hit with a big storm. Both Megan and myself's areas are going to be hit with it over the next 24 hours, so that's rain and wind and all the fun stuff. So being that I live rurally, I've had to go outside and tend to my property and do rural stuff, so that's why the show was delayed, even more so than us starting it later anyway. So apologies to everybody, and thank you very much for chilling and waiting till we turned up to let you guys know what's been going on. We're live, we're out there, we're on YouTube. I have no idea how we're coming through. Let us know where audio's at, all these bits and pieces. Say hi to the peeps. Megan, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm exhausted. Like, I'm trying to stay like light and positive despite what's happening. Yeah, it's been interesting as well too, because bear with, I can see my door open.
That was my chair creaking, I promise. Hello to everybody out there in chat. I'm not gonna try and shout out everybody's names. I see a million miles of you, so thank you all. I'm so tired, as you guys can tell. I'm just like so exhausted, I think's the word I'm looking for. I was the calmer one in my household. Oh, and Colin, my property mate that lives out in this house bus in the yard. The other two flatmates seemed to freak out quite a bit, and there was lots of PTSD. There we go, I said it right the second time. Getting all tongue-tied and flustered. Yeah, lots of emotions being triggered off. Yeah, the earthquakes in Christchurch 6 years ago were pretty big for New Zealand, and this was felt countrywide, these ones that hit down there this time. And where I am is a little bit closer to the epicentre than to where Megan is, but we've both been feeling them, both been rocking and rolling on the roller coaster. Yeah, and it's still going. It's still going. I woke up to a 6.6 today, so that was a nice jolt out of bed, I tell you.
I mean, it's interesting too, because it's like after the bigger 7.5, yeah, it was crazy. Like it was probably. I live in a city that shakes all the time because Wellington, where I live, is situated on like one of the main fault lines. So I'm used to Wellington having like the odd tremor here and there. But yeah, that one that hit like right after midnight, I was convinced that it was our fault line going, and we were about to experience a really big earthquake. And yeah, and it was kind of funny because I was actually on a Zoom chat with one of our Aussie friends, Jackie, who's in the chat. I was on Zoom with her. We were having like a bit of a talk, and then the earthquake happened. And I was in the middle of saying something, and it's like, okay, and it started off really small. And usually what I'm used to whenever we have earthquakes here in Wellington is that we'll have sudden sharp jolts. But before the jolts usually happen, you can either hear them coming, so you'll hear like a rumbling noise before everything starts to shake. And that's what I'm used to. And there was no rumbling or anything, no warning. And if I'm not getting like a warning, I'll get like a sudden feeling of, I guess, like motion sickness also before an earthquake strikes. And I didn't get that. And it wasn't until it was well into like really going that I started getting that orientation and inertia and everything. And I was like, oh, it was like, come on, just please stop. And yeah, so it was definitely, I suppose it was like entertaining for Jackie, who was sort of like looking at me like, huh, what's going on? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's an earthquake. And I was like, yeah, come stop now. And yeah, after that, it was like, I think I might have felt like one or two of the aftershocks. But I felt very little of a lot of the aftershocks that were actually being situated like by Steddon, which is quite close to where MOX is, but it's also close to where I am. And usually whenever the Steddon earthquakes happen, yeah, we feel it here in Wellington as well. But yeah, I felt very little aftershocks after that, which was really weird. But also at the same time kind of freaked me out a little bit. So yeah, it was insane. Like I was following our GeoNet like a hawk for like the first 2 hours after the big one, and there were like 50 recorded aftershocks all over the country. So it was, yeah, the whole country was just shaking. But yeah, a lot of it was mainly situated in the South Island or at the top end of like the South Island, much where MOX is. So she would have felt like the majority of them, if not nearly all of them. And yeah, I was feeling for her. Like every time I saw those GeoNet notifications popping up, I was like, oh my God. So all of my friends like down in the South Island, I've been thinking about you like the whole night and like right through it up until I woke up today. So it was, yeah, it was freaky.
It's been a long night, I tell you. It's been a very long night. And where I am, we also got tsunami warnings, even though we're not on the east coast where I am. It still ripples around through the Cook Strait, which is the body of water between Megan and myself and the two islands that you guys can see in that picture on the screen. That's the Cook Strait in the middle there. And yeah,
that was the strange thing with like the tsunami warnings, because we kept hearing there's tsunami warnings for like the eastern coast coastlines, and I was like, okay, that's fine because I'm on the western coast, so it should be all right. But then all of a sudden it switched and it went all like just about the entire coastline around the entire country was affected in some way. Yeah, more of the western coasts, I guess, were horribly affected. But yeah, I kind of had to keep like a bit of an eye out just in case, because the house where I am, we're quite close to an inlet. But we're also on top of a hill. So I thought, oh no, we should be okay so long as the swells aren't too big or the tsunami isn't looking to be quite high. So it was, yeah, it was a matter of just keeping an eye out and just making sure that yeah, well, it wasn't so much keeping an eye out, it's more like keeping an ear out for the siren to evacuate and we didn't get that, which was excellent. So yeah, got to stay home and try and get some shut eye, and yeah, it was hard. I got a little bit freaked out like when it had happened because I knew that my flatmate was at work. She does the night shift and she works at one of those department chains. Those in New Zealand will know it, and possibly Australia, the warehouse. Yeah, and yeah, that big earthquake definitely shook her up real bad. As soon as she got home, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning when she got home, and she literally came to me and just wanted a hug and just broke down in tears. So I was like, oh, so you okay? And she told me that, yeah, the moment that it started getting really big, she was trying to run out of the store and running down the aisles of like, all the stock and stuff, and he just falling down like around her and behind her. And she said, yeah, it was just one of the scariest moments that she'd ever had.
Okay, so we lost the live stream for a little bit there, Megan, so I don't know where it might have cut off what we were saying when it went dead. Just reminding everyone that separate of the earthquakes that New Zealand suffered last night and where I'm streaming from in New Zealand, as you guys can see on the map, that approximately where both me and Megan are, I just sort of put dots on that picture. There are I'm not sure if it's a tropical storm, but mad storms are hitting us from the west coast this time, as opposed to tsunami warnings coming at us from the east coast from earthquakes, many earthquakes that are still continuing. Yeah, I feel like this is like a live news bulletin and people might see a live quakes or something, which is entirely possible, just putting it out there. So yeah, there's mad storms hitting me here rurally where I am, and not just blaming YouTube for this one tonight. This is entirely could possibly just be my internet and state of New Zealand as it is right this second. There's a bit of damage in places. It's not necessarily as big or as many deaths or anything as horrific on that scale as our big Christchurch quakes in February and September in 2010 and 2011, but there is still damage and life lost, just on a lesser scale so far. Hopefully with the supermoon and the magnetic pull, I personally believe is what triggered all the quakes coming close to the plates. Mooney, just back off a bit after the full moon, which is actually coming up later this evening, New Zealand time. It's in the wee hours of tomorrow morning. When the moon backs off, hopefully all these quakes will just chill out and the damage and injuries won't be too bad on the whole. Hoping. Looking at the state of this live feed, but I'm keeping an eye on the stream house. Megan, what are you vaping on today? Like we just totally launched into the big serious, but that's valid.
What am I vaping on? At the moment, I am currently vaping on, as soon as I let the light adjust, pineapple tart, Just Eat Juice. I've been chain vaping this thing like since I woke up. So yeah, I think I've gone through about a quarter of this bottle just today. Yeah, and the device that I'm using is my Driven Dolls box, or BJ box mod, with the recoil.
Awesome. So that all your setups for today, is it? Okay, well, I'm a little bit sad right now, to be quite honest, because we had some tsunami warnings where I was last night. I packed a whole lot of my gear up ready to go. So right this second, all I have out in front of me, I can whip something together, throw some batteries and something. Right this second, I'm rocking it old school, my Twisted Messes on my keyboard today. And Jackie, love you. You're out there in chat. Jackie's the one that witnessed the quake on Zoom. Excuse me, witnessed the quake on Zoom with Megan last night. Fruit Drops sour. It's just like a Skittles. Love it. It's like my second favourite of theirs right behind Sugar Baby, which I already like steamed through a bottle of, so I'm holding back on the second bottle so that I can like save it a little bit. I love my Sugar Baby. I feel like I should chuck a battery in one of my new babies. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you would have seen one of my new babies recently. Live stream's good. It keeps coming and going. Can't do anything about it with the state of New Zealand right now.
Yeah, just check. Comment in the chat. So the connection's a bit sketchy. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I just pretty much typed out there what I just said, so saying as they can't hear us. No, I'm not having trouble. The weather is. So yeah, mad quakes. Like, to be honest, and I'm just gonna keep going. We'll record for a little bit because this video will upload. People can watch the replay. We know they record. It'll just be whatever status of pixelation, but we know the audio is fine when they record. To be quite honest, not so much. Well, actually, both of us in different ways. We were hit with different quakes at different times and different ripples from different quakes, and I was even like grateful that it went connect and that we're live at all right this second, and that we're still part of the global world, not just you know, like technology. Lots of places across New Zealand lost power last night. That's why I say this. Like, the fact that we're even able to do a stream right now, I think, is fairly cool, even if it's a really tired, exhausting one. And apologies for that. I know my energy is definitely a bit flat. I slept bugger all. I'm waiting for those tsunami sirens to go off down the road. So yeah, let's just have a vape and a coffee. Hey Megan, we're alive. We're alive, and we get here.
Yes.
We're here to vape another day.
It's funny, like with the power outage, because as that bigger one was happening, my lights started to flicker. And I'm like, don't you dare go out. Because I knew that if the lights went out, that all power would go out and I would lose like internet. And I was like, no, I need to make sure that I'm still connected with somebody. So I'm glad that, excuse me. So I'm glad that Jackie was there with me to sort of, I guess, be able to talk to somebody. Because yeah, like I mentioned, I'm just like here in my house, it's just myself, my flatmate, and her daughter. And her daughter was asleep, as she should be, because she's only 7. But my flatmate was at work. So it was kind of scary. So at the same time, it was kind of good having somebody else there that I could actually talk to, even if they weren't physically there with me. It just gave me like that peace of mind that I'm going to be okay. And then as well as doing that, it also sort of made me check in on my family just to make sure that they're all okay. So yeah, so I was glad that when I called my parents' house that everyone there was fine, which also made me glad, like, because the majority of my family, or quite a big chunk of my family, live at my mum and dad's house. And I'm talking like my immediate family. Yeah, so my sister and her partner and their kids were there, and yeah, both my parents were home. So yeah, it was good knowing that they were all together and they were all okay. So that gave me that other peace of mind as well. And then as well as that, like I have another brother who lives within the same suburb as my parents. So yeah, he ended up calling my mum as I was talking to her on the phone as well. So I got to talk to him, and sort of knowing that he was okay with his partner and their kid, it was good.
I'm just telling everyone out in chat to watch the replay. If the feed is like painful, just don't try and put yourself through it. We're gonna keep recording, so come back, watch the replay later. And yeah, love you all, Vape fam. Thank you always for trying to stick out the horrible connections with us. Miles, I actually can't comment. I've never been in California for a earthquake across the San Andreas fault. I hope I said that right. I hope that's the right fault line. I did watch that movie, yes. So I think I think I got that right. I don't know. Oh,
Yeah, I've seen
my
it.
bad. Apologies if I did not. I am aware there are lots of fault lines that you guys have over in the States, but I don't know about the comparisons. You guys have different layouts of over congested population in your areas and all your high rises and all different cityscapes and suburbscapes that we have, but to way lesser degrees. Not all of our cities have high rises. You know, we can be a city and be quite spread out and like, you know, no more than, dare I say it, 10 floors to a building. Shock horror. Sorry. You know, like not every city is huge.
But we definitely don't have those super high rises.
Yeah, no, not huge cityscapes the way you guys do. They have to deal with damage and fatality and injury and what have you after the fact. Megan does, not so much exactly where she is, but in CBD, in Wellington CBD, it's big high rises, not apartment buildings, more industrial and business and, you know, day-to-day CBD business life.
Yeah, there's apartment buildings there.
Oh,
like,
is there?
Yeah, in the city there's a number of them. Like as well as like apartment buildings, you got like, you know, the hotels like that are there, and yeah, a lot of people like with those when the big one had hit. The CBD is geographically it's closer to the South Island, so it bore the brunt of like that big one, whereas I'm a little further north from the CBD. So yeah, so the CBD actually sustained a fair amount of damage. Like when I've mentioned, like with my flatmate working at the warehouse, yeah, she's like a 10-15 minute drive from my house to where she works, and yeah, her job's not open today, and they're not going to be open tomorrow either. That shop actually sustained like a fair amount of damage, like a lot of stock came off the shelves, and parts of the walls had actually collapsed, and a few of the beams had also come down as well. So I was quite surprised by the amount of damage that store had sustained. And yeah, she's quite reluctant to actually go back. They've got a group of engineers going in there and doing, I guess, necessary structural repairs, and hoping to get as much of the stuff in tomorrow morning to just clean up. But yeah, she's quite reluctant to go. She's actually quite scared, and I don't blame her after what she went through. And yeah, like when she was running through the aisles trying to get out of the store, and with stock and stuff like falling down around them, she said it was like trying to run on like jelly, as well as jumping over stuff that had fallen in front of her. And she says that at one point she actually turned and looked back at one of the homeware aisles where they have all of like the glass jars and glass cups and stuff. And she goes, and they all just fell out. It was like a wall of just glass just falling off the shelves and just smashing onto the ground. And she goes, and that was just as she was running out of that aisle. And yeah, so she was quite freaked out by the whole thing. So hopefully she'll be able to work with like her team that she works with on the night team, and work together. So then that way they can support each other, especially when they're trying to deal with nerves and stuff like that. Um, yeah, so she's glad that she gets to stay home tonight, because normally she's working tonight as well.
I'll bet she
But
is.
yeah, tomorrow morning. So hopefully she'll be okay. I went to her and it's like, if I could help, I totally would. But unfortunately, due to health and safety reasons, the warehouse can only have their employees come in and do the work, which is kind of unfortunate. I would have been quite happy to have tried to help them out any way possible to try and get the cleanup efforts done as quickly as possible.
Yeah, totally. The cleanup after a quake is always the hardest, separate of injury or fatality, which is always obviously the hardest and the worst to deal with. You're literally looking at broken pieces that you have to pick up. Now, I'm thankful I had gotten out of Christchurch before the big quakes a few years ago, but I have been back many times, and it is definitely not the city I once lived in for a long time. And it's still recouping from that, and they would have definitely felt that hard last night. Lots of people reliving that per se. I don't want to go into that too hard. Lots of us have experienced earthquakes, and lots of us have lost in many aspects, whether it be material or loved ones. We just gotta keep on and try and stay safe. And on that note, Megan, are you ready? Do you have an emergency kit ready to go? Whether it be water, food, vape gear, clothes, are you kitted out if those warnings go off, honey?
Yeah. Funny thing is that I had a kit, like a survival kit, all set up, ready to go when we were having, like, when Stetton was going through the earthquakes 3 years ago. But since then, since everything kind of quieted down, you have the tendency to sort of like dip into your survival kit when you sort of run out of like a few essentials. So like canned foods and like toilet paper, you go, well, might as well use that because it'll save me from having to go to the shop. We, like, after last night, we had realised that when we were trying to pull all of our stuff together again, like I actually had purchased, what was it? I think about 5 or so years ago, possibly more or longer than that, a dedicated survival kit, which was like in a backpack, pretty large, like bright orange backpack with all of like my necessities that I would need in the event of an emergency. And it was enough to sort of like, I guess, help up to 4 people. So if it was like me plus someone else or something like that, it'd be sufficient for like two of us. Four people was like the max for my kit. And over like the few years, that kit's been sort of like broken down, or things have moved, or items have needed to be replaced. And after last night's one, it was a bit of an eye opener, and sort of like it means that I need to get onto replenishing that survival kit. But yeah, last night my flatmate and I put together like a bunch of stuff for survival means, and literally just threw them all into the car just in case we needed to gap it. So we've got plenty of water and got potatoes, rice. Kind of figured with things like that at least then you'll be able to make, I guess, replenish your energy levels with like things like, with your carbohydrates and what have you. And just making sure that we had everything that we needed should we need to disappear in a hurry.
Didn't realise my sound wasn't off. Message. I've got a couple of kits ready to go. I've lived rurally for a while now, so there's always an emergency kit set up, ready to go, because if there are mad storms happening, we lose the power often. So, an emergency kit for an earthquake, albeit you've got to grab quickly and be a little bit more compact if you are able to grab it. don't risk your life trying to do so. You know, yeah, I've always got something ready to go if I need to run in a hurry, so that's cool. Just reading out in chat there. Yeah, Miles, it's an option that we turn off for the live streams because it gives the stream upload full dedication to just streaming and trying to be less buffering. That's why you can't skip. It's called rewinding. It's why you can't rewind while it's live. It's an option turned off to try and make it buffer less. However, with the storm, I'll repeat again, with the storms going on, hitting pretty much the centre of the country where Megan and myself are right now, well, where we both live, on that image on screen, we're being hammered and battered. Separate of the earthquakes, the storms coming in from the west coast. The earthquake was, as you can see on the screen, lower down on the east coast on the South Island, but below me. And the tsunami warnings that we received early hours this morning for both our areas, and actually lots of different aspects of New Zealand, because lots of our country is coastal. Many places got these tsunami warnings. That was predominantly happening down the east coast side, predominantly, not entirely. Down the east coast side, storms coming in from the west. So New Zealand's getting slammed like totally right now. The upload to YouTube in the States is not going very flash on the live. So yeah, all good guys. Come back, watch the replay later. We're just chilling, trying to have some sort of normality for a Monday when the last 12 hours have been anything but normal here. So hence why we've also postponed our original show we had planned for today, which is going to be about mech mods and mech safety. We're going to do that next Monday, seeing as that's quite, got to focus, heavy content, get our info right, la la la. We had some stuff planned out, and then when the big earthquake hit just after midnight, that sort of all went out the window as we both went into civil defence mode is what I've got up on the screen. I was going to say survival mode, but it wasn't quite that bad just yet. Our quakes are continuing, so hopefully they start to settle as the supermoon pulls away again in the next 12 hours. I just had to look at the clock then. So again, thanks for trying to hang out, guys. I see a few of you still out there. But that's pretty much what's going on. So, Megan, right, okay, let's try and talk something vape here for a second. We're going to do this show next week about mech and what have you, and our experiences, share as much information as we can get our hands on. Hopefully we get it all.
Share some knowledge.
Yeah, share some knowledge. Sorry, I'm trying to read at the same time. That's totally not working. Okay, so with the show next week, do we... I shouldn't be asking you this live, but I am. Do we share certain RDAs we've received recently? Or do we wait for a show that's coming up down the way a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, obviously, I'm using one right now.
Yeah, and that's the one I was just about to pull out before too. But you know what I'm meaning, eh?
Yeah. It's completely up to you. I mean, we could have, if we have time, I suppose, depending on how long it takes to go through.
Well,
mech safety. What's happened?
Oh no, I was thinking more along the lines of having it on a mech, using it on the show. So those of you who follow Megan and myself on social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, wherever, will have seen we've both received some new hardware lately. So, you know, you guys out there do know what we're talking about. We're discussing the recoil and the dude that have arrived in our possession lately. And waiting for an email. Still yet to lock down our show with Ryan, and we'll go over the dude RDA and do a... Oh, I'm hoping he'll do a build live, or at least install a build live. And oh, look at that, pretty. So yeah, hi, that's a really cool shot right there with your face behind them. I wish I didn't have a million things screen captured right now. I would totally print screen you. We'll have to do that one later, because that looks really cool with your face in the background. Print screen yourself. It did look really cool with the depth perception once it focused on the RDAs, and then your like face was perfectly between the two mods. Yeah, that was nice composition, darling, whether you were trying to or not.
My face was purely in between them so I could see, because I was manually focusing.
I know. But it still came out good. Jackie, I don't currently. I have to get some VG to make the doubler up, so I've only got one ready to vapor sugar baby left, but it's in the fridge, but I will put it in my emergency kit. Hey Skelly, how you doing out there, honey? So yeah, I'm just put a battery in my timekeeper, put my limitless on it.
Nice.
Quite liking this, yeah. Quite liking this indeed. Safe build. Yeah, no, I was just thinking, what did the build and your dude ohm out to? The one that you've got in it currently?
0.1.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if I'd necessarily put it on a meg because it's a lot of wire. So the ramp up could be quite painful.
I wrapped too many times. I've got a 0.6 in mine, so I might rebuild. But I was, yeah, thinking about putting mine on a meg for the show. I hadn't done it yet, and obviously with the quakes, everything got all KY and distracted and chaotic last night. Everything was chaotic. I'm so glad for things like this, for video chat, where we all hang out regularly, maybe not every night, but you know, often. And when something big goes down, get to share it with, albeit sometimes not a nice thing goes down, but people get to see stuff live that they would only normally see on the news and stuff. So no, our live video chat lends a different perspective to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you notice I've got my Dot Mod shirt on today, Megan?
Yes, I did notice that. Jealousy.
Oh, huge Dot Mod on my back. Big gold Dot Mod, just like this one right here. It's that symbol on my back. In gold. It's quite flashy. So, I don't know. We just... Today's show wasn't really anything. Like the title says. Are we still alive? Yeah, we're still here, guys. We're rockin' rollin'. It has been a real roller coaster. And we just sort of really wanted to do the show to let a lot of our American, sorry, not even just American, Canadian, Brazilian, Russian, German, there's UK, there's lots of yous that come out and hang in the chat with us actually. Let you all global vape fam know that we are okay, effectively, and albeit a painful live stream, we came on, we tried to do a show, and you guys can watch it back in the replay and watch us ramble about not too much. But yeah, it's been
We thought it's like doing it this way meant that it gave us a chance to like jump on and say, look, we're okay. That yeah, we're like 007's martini. We're shaken, not stirred. But at one point I actually went to Mox and said, would it even be worth doing a show this week, despite what had happened overnight? And so we pretty much had come up with the decisions together to do a short show today, and just to basically say, hey, we're still here, we're okay. Because I'm sure that a lot of the worldwide news broadcasters would have been broadcasting the earthquakes that have been happening here, and and the multiple ones after that big one. So yeah, we're getting there.
And out there in the chat, I've also been posting our GeoNet link for those of you across the globe who have any interest in monitoring our earthquakes that we're going through here. I know many of you guys watching live, the stream is going in and out, and we can't do anything. So thanks for trying to hang, but we'll just keep rambling for a little while longer. It's okay if you guys are there or not. And yeah, and because obviously storms, quakes, crazy, chaotic, Armageddon, it's the end of the world. It was why we decided to do a shorter show today anyway, so you're not missing too much. We just wanted to send our love out. Hang on, I'm going to put my mod down and do it safely. Send our love out and let you guys know that we are okay. And it is awesome, warm fuzzies, albeit that neither of us were in the epicenter. It is warm fuzzies to wake up today from a long night of rockin' and a rollin' and on edge waiting for a siren. Getting messages from lots of you across the globe as well, asking if we're all right and just checking in, effectively, just checking in. So, yeah, thanks. Loves to you, Global Vape Fan. Thank you for caring. Thank you for giving a shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's like the awesome thing with the vaping community is the care. It's like as if though it's family checking in on each other. Like we were doing the same thing like locally. Like there's a group of us that communicate with each other on a regular basis, and sort of touching base with everybody, just making sure that we're all there. And and even like in some of the local groups, there's been like the odd like roll call of sorts post on there. It's like roll call if you've seen this, and it's like just check in. Let us know if you're okay. It's definitely a family-like basis.
Hell yeah, that was a good run. Did you see that? I'm not proud of that little run.
Like a pretty good thing going on there.
I was like, I really want to say something right now, but it's like, no, keep going. That was a good little run. Yay! Yay for Vapers! Woo woo! I always feel like really embarrassed when I try and do O's on the show, and I've got the heat pump on, or I'm just not holding my mouth right because I've got my rings in, or whatever excuse I want to come up with for that moment. And yeah, O fails, and then it's like, yeah, warm fuzzies when I get them right. Fuck yeah. Yeah, show off.
It's got to work on your distance now.
I know, right? That new game that Ronit invented on Zoom, I actually really like that. But my camera's up. My camera's up here, so I don't know how I'm going to nail an O over my camera. That's it. If you guys want to try that at home, it's a cool wee little game. It doesn't really do anything. You don't win much except a little bit of self-achievement, warm fuzzy. So yeah, wherever your camera is on your desk, your computer, whatever, try and get an O over your camera, a vape O, and like horseshoe round the peg type styles, or getting a hole in one. Yeah, try and get a vape O around your camera. It's just a little bit of fun, nothing too exciting, but easy entertainment. What do they say? Small things entertain small minds. Sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta keep it simple.
It's the small things in life.
Sometimes it is the little things, man. You know, regardless. You can be as complicated or as complex a being as you want, but sometimes it always will come back to the little things. And that is such a generalized statement, but you know, it applies for most things in life.
We're just going to blow O's for the next few minutes before we close off.
I know, right? It's sorry. I just hated to try and do another little run of O's there. I hope everybody across the globe is safe too, actually, because you know we are all on this big bouncy ball in the universe together, and there is always a ripple effect. There's earthquakes going off here, then you know that's connected to a fault line elsewhere on the globe. That's going to set off either earthquakes or tsunami ripples elsewhere in the world as well. There's never only just one place ever affected, so I hope everyone else out there is safe too. And it comes to there's all those little mortality sayings that always seem to resurface when something big like this happens. Don't wait until it's too late. Tell the ones that you love them how you feel about them. You know, that can be family, friends, whatever. Don't hold back. If you've got something to say, say it. Now's the time, because tomorrow could be too late. You know, all those sort of mortality type, what's the word I want? Cliche lines. That's the one.
Yeah.
But just because the cliche doesn't take it away any less validity of the statement, you know. Love one another. Tell another that you love them. Make somebody else's day. Put a smile on both your faces. And then if something were to happen, you've said it. And, you know, it wasn't too late for anybody. Sad cliches. Oh, woe is me, small tiny violin. Wah, 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 wah. No, not even. But you guys know what I'm all saying. Know what I'm saying even. Just, yeah, I hope everybody's safe. It's not just us over here, as I am looking at a website that just has rolls and rolls of earthquakes going on. Oh my god, New Zealand, will you just stop moving right now? Like, please?
So that reminds me of like during those the 7 quakes like 3 years ago.
I can feel all of them. Are you watching Geonet? I can feel all of them sitting here right now, Megan. Anything
Every
4
now
and
and again,
above, I feel.
your camera sort of like moving a wee bit.
Every 4 and above, I feel here. It's insane. Yeah, Japan is another earthquake hotspot. I just caught that comment, Mix. And there's Chile. There's several places in Portugal. You know, lots of South America. Ooh, ooh.
Another one.
Yeah. Oh man, it just makes me nervous, eh? Nervous. East of Seaton. That one wasn't even a 4 and I felt that one. Man, insanity. Okay, so yeah, anything you want to say to the peeps, Megan? I think we'll wrap this up because we are just rambling.
Yeah. I guess the only thing that I've got to say is thank you for trying to stick it out and watch the feed. We kind of half expected that the feed wouldn't really be in our favour today, considering, like I've mentioned in the chat, our recent current events. To everyone else though, who's watching in New Zealand, stay safe, look after each other, and hopefully everything settles down hopefully soon. And to those like overseas, yeah, if you need to get in touch with us, yeah, we can be contacted through our Ohm Kiwis page, and yeah, so just stay strong, New Zealand.
Where can people find you, Megan?
Where can people find me? You can find me on Instagram. I'm Ohm Kiwi, one word, and as well as on Facebook under Ohm Kiwi Coils. Yeah, so you can find me.
Oh, the struggle is real. Okay, guys. Big loves to you all. Yeah, exactly what Megan said. I hope everybody out there in New Zealand is safe as well. Like I just said just before, I hope you're all globally safe because we're all on one big bouncy ball together, and there's always ripples all across the globe. There's never just one country feeling it. So I hope all the crazy settles down soon for all of us when the super moon backs off with its magnetic pull. And next week we will be doing the mechanical mods and mech safety show that we had originally planned to do today. And yeah, hope you guys come back, join us for that, and yeah, keep it real, keep it foggy. Big loves to all you guys. All my dates, my million places you can find me are down in the description. If you want to show me some love, go and follow me on Instagram if you aren't already. I want to try and make it to 1,000 followers by Christmas. That's my little wee goal, although I don't know, by the new year at least. I don't know why, and I don't know what will happen when I reach it, but that's what I want. Yeah, big loves to all you guys. Thank you for trying to watch us live, and yeah, come back, watch the replay later, and be safe. Love. We'll see you guys next week, and me and Megs will go out on a couple clouds. Love you, Vape Fam. Keep it real.
Good job.